Hello. C-Drama greets you. Chinese drama A Date with the Future EP8. Xu Lai immediately decided to take Pehan to the back mountain to search for the dogs, and Lu Shu went with her while Zhang Yang was responsible for informing Jin Xishan. Xu Lai and Lu Shu split up to search for the dogs. Inadvertently, Xu Lai slipped and fell down a small slope. There were ear-piercing thunder and lightning flashing across the night sky. Xu Lai crouched down trembling and unable to move. Jin Xishan saw Pehan, and was led to Xu Lai by him. Xu Lai saw Jin Xishan, who seemed like a god, descending by her side, and immediately hugged him. Jin Xishan took her to a small cabin in the mountains and planned to go find the dogs after the rain stopped. Although the dogs were important, Jin Xishan didn't want Xu Lai to risk coming out in the rain without considering her safety. As an instructor, Xu Lai treated every dog as a companion and wouldn't leave any of them behind. Jin Xishan knew that Xu Lai was afraid of dark spaces, so he gave her a Ultraman-themed small flashlight. Xu Lai knew he was reminded of chasing the wind, and she hoped that she could also illuminate Jin Xishan's heart like this little flashlight. Lu Shu found Guanjun and Wu Dig, and Zhang Yang called Jin Xishan to inform him. Jin Xishan said he was currently with Xu Lai. Jin Xishan stood outside the door for a while, and when he entered, Xu Lai had already fallen asleep. Jin Xishan sat next to her, and Xu Lai rested her head on Jin Xishan's shoulder. Pehan also rested his head on Jin Xishan's leg. Both the dog and the person leaned on him, and Jin Xishan suddenly felt very content. The next morning it was bright outside, but Jin Xishan couldn't wake Xu Lai up. When he touched her forehead, he realized she had a fever, so he immediately took her to the hospital. Xu Lai held onto Jin Xishan tightly. Even when she was being examined, Jin Xishan held her in his arms. During Xu Lai's unconsciousness, she kept holding Jin Xishan's hand, and Jin Xishan stayed by her side, with the intravenous drip for several hours. Zhang Chu said the fever had subsided, but she still needed to stay in the hospital for observation. This would affect the training, and Xu Lai didn't want to stay in the hospital. However, Jin Xishan insisted on going to handle her admission procedures. Lu Fengqi cared about Zhang Chu, but Zhang Chu didn't need his concern. Jin Xishan received a call and returned to the base. Huo Yanzong learned from Han Fang that she was hospitalized and specially bought Li's pan-fried dumplings to visit her. Xu Lai asked him to cover for her and sneaked out of the hospital. Lu Fengqi happened to witness this scene and hurried back to inform Jin Xishan. Although Jin Xishan pretended not to care on the surface, he was actually very concerned. He arrived at the base gate and happened to see Huo Yanzong and Xu Lai standing very close together. He immediately ran over and pulled Xu Lai away, while Huo Yanzong also held Xu Lai's other hand, unwilling to back down. Xu Lai expressed helplessness and let go of her own hand. She continued to say a few words to Huo Yanzong at the door and then entered the training base. Jin Xishan's coat had the hairpin she had given him before, which he not only didn't lose but also carried with him. Xu Lai's mouth lifted in happiness, and Jin Xishan said he forgot to throw it away, but Xu Lai could tell he was saying one thing and meaning another. That night Jin Xishan remembered how close Xu Lai and Huo Yanzong were earlier. The more he got about it, the angrier he became, so he threw the hairpin into the trash can. During dinner the next day, Jin Xishan learned that Lu Fengqi had cleaned his room and also took out the trash for him. Jin Xishan suddenly became anxious and went to rummage through the trash can to find the hairpin. Lu Fengqi searched through the trash can with him for a long time and finally found the hairpin. Lu Shu and Zhang Yang apologized to Xu Lai. If they hadn't lost the dogs, Xu Lai wouldn't have been caught in the rain while searching in the mountains, and she wouldn't have gotten a fever and stayed in the hospital. Xu Lai generously said it was all right. Considering that Xu Lai hadn't fully recovered, Jin Xishan canceled today's dog training session. Xu Lai smelled the unpleasant odor on Jin Xishan, and Lu Fengqi and Jin Xishan didn't allow Lu Fengqi to mention that they were rummaging through the trash can, so he took him to take a shower. While bathing, Jin Xishan even wore the hairpin. When everyone saw Xu Lai just leaving Jin Xishan's dorm, they teasingly entered and joked with Jin Xishan. Jin Xishan, who was straightforward, said that he and Xu Lai were just simple colleagues. Xu Lai, who happened to be returning after picking up medicine, overheard what he said and became a bit angry. After putting down the medicine, she left. Jin Xishan knew he was at fault, so he prepared food in advance for her in the cafeteria. But Shu Lai was still angry and didn't accept his gesture. Worried that Shu Lai would go hungry at night, Jin Shishan specially prepared food and went to her dormitory to find her. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.